各位朋友，帝國主義是不講理的啊！當他坐在那個桌前的時候，就是他實在沒辦法的時候。帝國主義呢是聽不懂人話的啊！帝國主義聽懂的只能是響亮的耳光打在他臉上的聲音，只能是真理的大炮的怒吼聲。所以說，川普雖然他從中國回來了，宣稱得到了巨大的這種中國的承諾，可是呢，我認為川普在美國這個極端反智腦殘的這種反華的政治條件下，也有很多的無奈。達成的這些協議，我覺得中國呢必須得亮出自己的力量，亮出你的爪牙，讓美國看看美國才能夠徹底的服氣，要不然的話川普也很難办。我們來看看吧。根據白宮的官宣雙方達成的內容，中美關係要進行戰略性的建設，領導人互訪，國際峰會都要支持。伊朗的核問題說雙方都不同意伊朗的擁有核武器。霍爾木茲海峽雙方都認為要開放，海峽通行費雙方都認為那個伊朗不能收朝鮮問題要推動朝鮮无核化，貿易機制要建立一個委員會管理，投資機制要建立一個委員會稀土與關鍵礦產，中國呢將那個對美國要放寬稀土設備與技術你看了沒有？要中國的稀土設備和技術呢，中國要回應中國沒有答應，但是說可以討論。波音飛機200架，農產品每年至少買170億美元的農產品，大豆也要買，而且呢，人家川普喜滋滋的宣布，後續的中國要在美國投資1萬億美元。好家伙，你聽聽這個數吧，1萬億美元好吧。但是美國國內你要知道美國國內有一批的這種議員都是台獨分子養的這是毋庸置疑的，各位哎呀，這些議員，比如說前國防部長蓋茨，口出狂言說別怕中國，川普你怕中國幹嘛呀？中國解放軍只是個花架子，他們打不了仗。你看吧，這群這個反共的腦殘的老傻叉，轉起輪子來那是一點都不差。
Around Taiwan anytime they wanted, what the Taiwanese call an anaconda strategy, and it would strangle Taiwan over time. I don't think they want to go in and attack Taiwan. They don't want to destroy the very chip factories they want to take over. So, and then there's cyber. There are all kinds of pressures. I also think that the Chinese are hoping that over time, the Kuomintang, KMT, which has been more friendly toward China, will be a vehicle that will allow them over time to get more and more influence in Taiwan and maybe have some kind of a Hong Kong-style transition over a period of time. I think that Chinese would far prefer that kind of, if you will, takeover of Taiwan than all the risks inherent in a military invasion. Yeah. There isn't one single Chinese general or admiral today that has 1 day of combat experience. The last time these guys fought was 1979 in the North Vietnamese. The Vietnamese gave them a bloody nose. She has fired all these generals. There are now no generals left on the Central Military Commission that kind of oversees the whole thing. He's fired and they're slated for execution his last 2 defense ministers. So this is not an outfit that I think he has enormous confidence in right now. And he's been
这个老棺材板子 你看这个轮子轉的一點也不慢，對吧？啊，解放軍沒打過仗，打不了仗啊。這個1979年被越南給打慘了，就這個老棺材板子啊，是吧？那解放軍現在沒有將領了，全抓起來了，對吧？啊，好吧，老棺材板子下一步建議川普，你趕快賣武器給台灣吧，啊，那就顯示你是個人吶，你不怕中國呀。
So leave it open to question whether the U.S. would militarily come to the defense of Taiwan if China were to move on it.
Yes.
That needs to be an open question. Well, on paper, the president has made significant pledges to Taiwan in terms of promised arms sales, not delivered on yet. There's another $14 billion in proposed weapon sales that the Trump administration has delayed approving. Do you think the president should greenlight that?
I think he should. I think we should go forward with what we've agreed with Taiwan. One of the concerns that I have is even with respect to previous arms sales, there is a huge backlog
Right.
of weapons that we have sold to Taiwan that we have not been able to deliver because we don't have the supplies. And so if you're offering another $14 billion, is that just going to be added to the backlog, or is there a way forward in terms of actually getting these weapons to the Taiwanese? I think an important thing that has happened in recent years is getting the Taiwanese to focus on purchasing the kinds of weapons that would be necessary to defend themselves against a Chinese amphibious invasion. And the Taiwanese legislature has just finally reached an agreement to fund
Right.
The purchase of these weapons. So I think we should go forward with it. It is in our own way our counter to President Xi's strong statement. Yes, you have your position, we have ours.
這老棺材板子要害川普，川普好不容易要饭要了一大堆，他說你應該賣給台灣武器。這老棺材板子，這不是給川普挖坑嗎？你賣給台灣武器，你要來的那些玩意兒還能要那個飯還能倒到你嘴裡嗎？哎，所以美國政壇全是這種這個傻缺精神病，全是這種啊。哎呀，這不是要順杆爬嗎？人家那個台獨分子都說了啊，美國敢不敢賣給台灣武器？哎，這是一個觀察的這個最大的指標。
那我想這一次國務卿 Rubio 隨行有一個重要的含義，因為他過去在美國是代表一個對中鷹派的角色，那他對於這個中國的戰略威脅他是非常清楚的，那他也理解台灣現在一個比較敏感的一個這個關係，所以他算是去穩住一個美國對中政策的一個不變的一個這個 consistency， 但是比較大的問題還是說，如果在雙方在談判的條件上面，的確台灣有被提到的時候，是哪一個部分進行了一個讓步或交易？那我覺得接下來值得關注就是，川普在回到美國之後，是不是就軍售這件事情有做任何的聲明啊？無論是這個暫緩，或者是可能就減少這個軍售的數量，這個也是值得關注的。
What can I do as a member of Congress? We'll be introducing with Senator Sullivan from Alaska hard-hitting pre-invasion sanctions that would put tariffs and sanctions on China if they did invade Taiwan. I want China to know, if you invade Taiwan, try to take Taiwan by force, here's what happens to your economy. The full weight and measure of sanctions and tariffs from the United States will kick in on day one. That's what I want to do to deter an invasion. As to the weapons sales, if the president decides not to approve the package, I'll leave that up to him, but I hope he will be able to tell the country, by saying no to the weapons package, I got an agreement with China that makes Taiwan more secure. We'll see what happens.
You want him to send the weapons, though, and does he support the sanctions package you just talked about?
We haven't talked to him about it, but I think there'll be overwhelming support in Congress to let China know. If we'd done this with Russia, if you invade Ukraine, here's what happens to you on day one, I don't think they would invade it. So let's make it clear to China, if you try to take Taiwan by force, here's what happens to your economy on day one. I'm hoping the administration would support that. In terms of weapons sales, it's up to the president. I would encourage him to make Taiwan strong so we can deter aggression. If you give an inch on China, they'll take them. On Taiwan, I think they'll take a mile. But we're not looking for war. We're not looking for conflict. I want to keep the status quo.
台独养的老棺材瓤子啊，又把那一套这个什么关税制裁拿出来了，是吧？哎呀，这个关税战你已经不敢打了啊，拿出制裁来，中国现在就要考慮的是這個問題了，有沒有這個決心啊？制裁只能是暫時的，中國是不怕制裁的，對吧？那制裁了俄羅斯，你看多少還要買俄羅斯的這個石油啊？制裁中國的話，有多少國家還得要買中國的產品呀？如果你老是前怕狼後怕虎的話，那台灣永遠收不回來，民族復興大業永遠也實現不了，對吧？所以說現在不是千載難逢的機會嗎？如果現在不動作的話，那麼以後那將會更難辦吧，是吧？現在是多好的時間窗口啊，那下一步怎麼辦呢？你別等到說9月份了啊，然後訪問美國之前這幾個月，川普肯定是不會批准軍售的，但是這幾個月中國掏出大把的錢來買美國的產品嗎？我覺得應該是首先是什麼呀？首先是對台灣要進一步的以武逼統，看看美國的態度，明白嗎？你不能先掏一大筆錢買美國的東西，等到最後啊不行了再翻臉，你現在就要以武逼統，往前進一步，看看美國是不是真心的呀？如果美國啊又給你發了，那就幹，掀桌子就幹，那麼着的話中國也不會吃虧呀。拋棄幻想吧，準備幹吧，點個訂閱，咱們下期再聊。